Report unusual behavior. Barricade your homes. Avoid all contact with infected individuals. Wait for official instructions. Wait my ass.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Thursday night live stream. Sorry, I just got distracted there for a minute. Just want to say thank you for joining tonight. We're going to be working on the Callisto Protocol creature that we've been working on. It's also a chance for you to, chill and ask me questions, or just in general about films or games or anything like that. So if you want, tonight's the night. So you can ask me questions. I'll have the comments up on the screen, and I'll take questions. Before we get started, though, I just want to share with you the membership video, and then we'll get straight into it. So you want to join my membership?
Contract. Sign it.
By joining, you won't only unlock members-only content. You'll also be supporting my channel and the growth of the community. Are you ready to do your part?
I'm doing my part.
For as little as a price of coffee a month.
God damn, Jimmy. This some serious gourmet shit.
You'll be able to access all past live streams and get exclusive members-only content.
Yeah, boy.
That's less than 49p a video.
Shut up and take my money.
So if you're ready, join now and become part of this 3D journey.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Alright, so as you saw there, you can become a member of the YouTube channel, and you can grab all the past live streams. So you got the tutorial live streams on Monday ones. That's the Dragon and the Anatomy, which we're working on at the moment, as well as the Thursday ones, which is a bit more of a chilled, like I said, a chilled live stream. And they're kind of mini tutorials, but at the same time, we sort of chit chat about anything and everything to do with 3D or films or games. And then for my tier 3 members on Patreon, they have an exclusive tutorial, which is coming to an end at the moment, but it's still pretty good if you want to, if you're a beginning artist and you want to try it out for yourself. You'll be able to sculpt the Velociraptor from Jurassic Park, and basically takes you step by step on how to create the Velociraptor inside of ZBrush from scratch all the way to the end. And I've been getting some good reviews from that, so that should be something if you're interested in learning how to do that. It's exclusively for tier 3, and they also get all the live streams as well. Don't forget, we have a Halloween sale going on at the moment, so it's a 50% off on my Halloween sale. So anything on my online stores is 50% off. The coupons are in the link below, or the description box below, and there's also links to the online stores, and it's pretty simple. Artstation has a coupon, and Gumroad has a coupon. You just go to the till at the end, you add that to the till, the coupon section of the till, and it'll just take 50% off. But Flip Normals and ZBrush are automatic at the till. So if you want, go grab some 50% off stuff. All right, cool. Let me just set this up, because StreamYard has done something new. They're constantly updating their systems, and they've done something new. So I just need to set something up. So I'm going to quickly share my screen. Oh, by the way, we are on, before I forget, we are on episode 39, which is not bad. Almost to the 50 episode mark. Yeah, let me just share my screen. Sorry. About that entire screen. Let's put the audio on for now. Here we are, and let's go to that view. I just got to set up the comment section because they've updated the comment section for some reason. So we just put that there. Regular, tall, wide. That's pretty cool. Medium, big, small. I think medium will be fine for this. Hey, Cakester, nice to see you here in the chat. Always good to see the regular people back in. Let me just put some music on real quick. Spooky Halloween music, and you can see the ticker tape below that there's the Halloween sale reminder. So if you want, you can go grab some merch, some tutorials, brushes, and models. All right, let's get into it. So, as you should know by now, we are working on a Callisto Protocol type creature, kind of like the one I did before in one of my time-lapse videos. And what we have here is just a bunch of references from the actual game. So that's pretty cool. I don't know if we're going to finish it tonight. We're going to get as much done as we can tonight. But like I said, I don't want to rush this. I think it's quite a fun project. It's definitely different from what we've already done so far. So it should be quite fun to just carry on with this one and make it look pretty cool. We're kind of taking inspiration from all those images and we're going to chuck it onto this creature here. As you can see, we've gotten quite far with it. We're now into the modeling of asymmetry. So we've done all the symmetrical parts, which is keeping everything symmetrical so we get all the shapes correct and the silhouette correct. And now we're going to go in with asymmetry, which is going to be a little bit difficult because you have to remember that you can't sculpt symmetrically on both sides, which is a bit more of a longer process, but it does give you a bit more of an interesting creature. Shoshaka, is that how you say it? Shoshaka, hey man, did you start this guy with a base mesh, and when do you decide to start from scratch? Yeah, we started off with the Lightbox character. So if I open up Lightbox here, you'll see it's this male character just here. You can see my cursor. I normally start off with a sort of base mesh because it's just a little bit more faster, the speed. There are times when a creature or a character is so complex or so abnormal that you might have to start from scratch, so using Z-spheres and stuff. So if we come over here to this guy, I would say this is a character or a creature that I would start from scratch using the Z-spheres, or you could also use the troll spheres, Z-spheres, which is still starting from scratch. It's just being built for you. So what I mean by that is if you come to Lightbox, you can see these Z-spheres here. They're still starting from scratch. It's just that someone's built it for you as a base. So don't be afraid to use base meshes, by the way. If you are a complete noob or complete beginner, it's nice to sort of learn how to sculpt things like the anatomies of humans. But once you get that down, then you could just start to sort of not cheat, but find shortcuts to creating things. Okay, Tomorrow says, was just checking out Predator Badlands reactions. Very positive so far. I think I'm looking forward to this one. Okay, cool, yeah. I haven't had a chance to look at that. I've been watching other films, other horror films lately, but I want to get into that in just a minute once I've taken the next question. Cakes says, what did you say the software you used to stream your screen was called again? It's called StreamYard. That's for the live stream. The live streaming that I use. Oh, look, the comments section on stage. It's all screwy. Hold on one second. Just regular. What? I've got. You see how it's all set up with the chat there? Now I got to go in. I've got to change this whole thing here so that it has a nice display. Otherwise, you can't see the sort of notifications below me. God damn it. I wish they never changed that. Wait, is that... If I have it regular, then I'm going to lose screen space for the actual ZBrush. This is going to take some thinking. I'm going to have to redesign this. That's a pity. Anyway, yeah, it's called StreamYard. I'm paying for it at the moment, so it's yeah, it's a bit of a pain, but you know, you want to stream, then you got to use StreamYard, and you can use what's the other one called? OBS, but I don't have time to learn that. So StreamYard is just really cool because it's like a plug in and play. You just plug in, you set it up, and you just start playing with it using it online. Hello, Joseph Bonkowski, one of my very, very loyal members. He's been around for quite a while now. Thank you very much for being here tonight. Don't use the ZBrush Zootools, Zeus, though. Most are anatomically incorrect. Yeah. There is that one woman that I found, Rosa Katz. Oh, let me just check let's see if I got her still. Am I saved? I swear I had her saved in here. She does she's got like, I wonder if it's here somewhere. No, can't find her. Yeah, there's this artist called Rosa. Let me just see if I can find her Artstation quick. Nah, I can't find it. All right, never mind. But there are artists out there that have created the base meshes, like sort of subtools that are more anatomically correct. So check those out. Check those artists out. I'll find it and I'll put it on a link. I'll put it in the Discord anyway. Does it work for Twitch as well? I believe it does. I haven't used Twitch. I don't use Twitch. So, but there are you can stream to multiple streaming servers. So I'm streaming through YouTube at the moment. I think if you upgrade, you can then stream through more. But I only use YouTube at the moment. So, yeah. Anyway, let's get into this. There is some other things I want to ask you guys later, but I want to try and get some more of us sort of sculpted first. Where did we leave off? I think we left off. We were just sort of playing around and using clay build-up really lightly to bring in the forms, right? A little bit more. And I think what I want to do is I want to show you how to... actually, I got to merge these down quick. These subtools down. There we are. I'm just going to dynamesh that so that's all one piece. And now we have a creepy claw hand added. I'm just going to turn the music down just a hairline. There we are. All right. Yeah, so I'm kind of near the point where I'd probably go ahead and start to ZRemesh and project this thing. So that should be quite cool for you guys to see, because you guys don't actually get to see that part very much, because I usually skip it in my time-lapse videos because it's a bit boring and it's just sitting around waiting for ZRemesh to or projection to finish projecting sometimes. So that's why I don't normally tend to keep it in the time-lapse videos. Yeah, I mean, like I say, the Predator Badlands, the film, it's recently just come out, but I haven't heard or seen anything about it yet, like review-wise. I want to see what the hype is, if there's any hype for it. I just saw on Netflix that they got the new trailer for Stranger Things Season 5, which I think is going to be really cool. Yeah, kind of want to... I can't wait for that to come out. I'm not going to watch all the seasons again, because I just literally did that a few weeks ago or months ago. So I'm going to keep that. It's still fresh in my mind. Maybe I'll watch the last season just to refresh my memory on what's going on, because it's like they left it for so long, after the last season. Everybody's a bit more grown up, and I think there's going to be don't quote me on this, but I think there's going to be a time lapse, like a point where they've sort of, 2 years in the future or something after the incident or whatever from the last season. So that should be quite cool. You get to see them a little bit more grown up, but we'll see, because they still look like they're kids, I think, in some places. Casey says, I don't think the new Predator film is out until November. Oh, okay. But there are early reviews, I believe. So, yeah, that might be what everyone else is talking about, the early reviews of the film. But we'll see. There's plenty of time. How's everybody been, by the way? Just because I'm looking down at my screen doesn't mean I'm not paying attention to everybody in the chat. Has everybody been having a good week so far? There we are. It's a little bit better. Now, it doesn't really matter at this point how detailed it is, because we're still in Dynamesh stage, right? So, in fact, this is probably a little bit more Dynamesh or a little bit more detailed than I would normally maybe go, or you should normally go, to be fair, with Dynamesh. I am kind of I'm a little bit weirder with Dynamesh. I love to sit in that comfortable stage of not having to worry about topology and use Dynamesh like vigorously, until I can't do much more. So for me, this is like the easiest, the most fun part is the Dynamesh stage, where you get to just chill out and sculpt exactly what you like and not have to worry about topology. All you got to do is make sure you don't have holes in your character when you're sculpting, because that can make some issues in the model, like in the program as well. I found that out this week. I've been working on a project at work, and my ZBrush file decided to just keep crashing, right? It just kept crashing on me for no apparent reason. And eventually I found out that the file was corrupt. And I've never had, in like, I don't know, maybe 10 or 8 years, I've never had a file corruption. Even when I was starting off, because that's when these sort of bugs normally occur, right? When you're starting off as a character or a creature artist or a ZBrush artist, you'll start to get, you'll hit all the bugs because you're not used to how ZBrush works. And I was just like, this is weird. ZBrush, it keeps crashing on me. So I did a bunch of things to try and fix it. And the one thing that did fix it was to export all the model, all the subtools as an FBX, and then open up ZBrush again as a clean scene and import the scene, import the model, the ZTools back in, and then divide them up again. So basically you're just making a whole brand new clean scene, really. That was the only way I could fix it. So, but it's always the last, well, that's kind of funny. It's always the last thing that you do is the thing that will fix it, which is ironic. Okay. It's like you lose your house keys, or you lose your keys. It's always in the they always say it's always in the last place you found you look. Of course, it's always in the last place you look, because you bloody found it by then. So cool. All right. Let's say this is enough for tonight. I'm not joking. This is enough detail in the Dynamesh. I want to try and get this as a clean model rather quickly, so that we can really get in here and mess around with it. Okay, so we got all the, say we have all the proportions correct. We like the way the shapes look. Now we could go a little bit more ham with it and just like really push the grotesqueness of it. But sometimes funny enough, subtlety is key when it comes to creature design. You don't want to go overboard in some places. You just want to, make subtle and make it very subtle when it comes to sculpting. There's a lot of people that will go overboard and, I don't know, completely make it alien, their design, and then they completely lose the flow and the look of the character. But sometimes that little bit of subtleness just helps when you're creating a creature. Joseph Bonkowski says, plans for Halloween? Probably video editing. I don't have plans, unfortunately. No, I got to go food shopping tomorrow, and then I've got to finish off a time-lapse video for Monday, and that will be the second from last one before the end of the year, because I don't work on December. So, yeah. Video editing will be the thing, and then I'll probably just sit back and watch Netflix. I've got that series, Midnight Mass. Just started watching that again. I love that show. It's just so. It's like the horror. I mean, we've already talked about this 1,000 times, but it's a horror film, or it's a horror show that is completely different to. Well, it's not really. It feels completely different to any other horror series that you know. I think it's produced by the same person who did the those other horror series on Netflix. I can't remember what they're called. If anyone knows who directed it and can tell me, that would be great. But he's got a very good way of telling stories. So yeah, it's a very wordy type show. Midnight Mass. It's very wordy. There's not a lot of action in it, but it doesn't need to have action, I don't think. I think it's got a really good story to it, and that is all that matters. Kesa says, that's enough for tonight after 5 minutes of work. That's my mindset with retopology. Yeah, oh, tell me about it. Tell me about it. I hate topology, retopoing. It's the worst thing ever. In fact, that's probably why I like film more when I was working in film, because the topology, unless it was something very easy and very quick, would normally be sent off to India, for the Indian studios to do that sort of thing, because the way it worked was London would be connected to Canada, because most of the film studios are in Canada, and then Canada would be connected to India. So there was a constant cycle of people working non-stop, because once UK goes to sleep, Canada's awake, and then Canada's asleep, India's awake, and then we'd sort of cross paths between the middays and stuff. So it's quite interesting how they did that. But anyway, India was always the kind of, I want to say sweatshop, but it was kind of seen as the sweatshop for retopoing for film characters, because they just had masses of people working on the models for film. So we'd always send all the creatures and characters to Mumbai or places like that to get it done overnight, and then we get the model back and sort of texture it, model detail onto it and stuff like that. So we never really did any retopoing for film, and that's one of the key things I miss about film. Joseph says, yeah, I've seen it. I don't remember much because seen it when it came out, but I liked it as far as I remember. Yeah, it's very spiritual. Like, it's got a lot of spiritual talking in it and stuff, and things to do with church and whatnot, which I think is pretty cool. Never thought I'd be interested in a TV show that would talk about religion so much, but it was very interesting. Had a lot of had a lot of inspiration, but there was a lot of talk about or likenesses to The Mist, if that makes sense. Stephen King's The Mist. Hey, Wazan. I'm not going to try and say your second name, but Wazan is a new member. Hello, welcome to the live stream. Hope you're having an interesting week. Casey says, yeah, the same person directed a whole load of them. That's right, The Haunting of Hill House, The Haunting of Bly Manor. I think the Bly Manor one was crap, to be fair, but The Haunting of Hill House was really good. They had that one episode in The Haunting of Hill House where it was a continuous camera movement or continuous camera flow, so there was no breaks. I think that was just pure brilliance. But yeah, that's the guy, the director. Says, I actually didn't like Midnight Mass, ended up not finishing it all. There was too much talking here for me. Yeah, like I said, it's a very talky show, but it's, you know, it is what it is, I guess. You either like it or not, like Marmite. Okay, let's take this now and do some ZRemeshing. So you're going to see what I do in terms of retopology inside of ZBrush. It's pretty boring, but it is something that needs to be done at a certain point when you are finished with your Dynamesh stage. So it's just to help get more detail when it comes to the high poly detailing, which we're gonna start cracking into, to be fair. Now, this character, we could have gone a little bit further with it, but I like the look of the grotesqueness in this creature so far. We're definitely going to detail it a little further in a minute, but I think it's got a good balance of grotesqueness and human physiology still. So you can tell it's a human creature, a human being, sorry, and it's been corrupted by this whatever it is, this alien genome, I guess, or gene. So I'm going to leave it like that. I'm going to duplicate this. So I duplicate the model and I turn off the top one. Now, normally my models are always sort of symmetrical, so there's symmetry on both sides, and it's a lot easier to ZRemesh a symmetrical model than it is to do a non-symmetrical model. So what we're going to have to do is a different method to what I normally do, and that is to group the individual body parts, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to grab the lasso, the masking brush with the lasso, and I'm going to turn on symmetry because I want the legs to have symmetry. So I'm going to mask this out and I hit Control W, and that's going to give me a new poly group. If I turn off the lines, you're going to see it better. It's going to give me a new poly group for the legs, and I'm going to turn off symmetry. And I'm going to group the arm up to the shoulder. Oh, I'm going to, group it. So Control W to group that. And then the same thing for this side. And Control W to do that. And then for the head, I want to have that as its own subgroup, its own group, sorry. Not subgroup, but group. So I'll just mask out the head. Try not to hit any of that body there. Make sure it's got relatively all of it. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's more of a guide for ZRemesh. So I'm just going to group that as well. So you can see here we have our individual pieces. Now you could go down the hand here and do the same for the thumb and the digits. So we can just come in here, group all of them together. Let's just get it so it's not on the knuckle. Oops. So it's like that. I'm just going to group that. You could also do it for the feet, but we're not going to worry too much about the feet because the feet are basically at the base of the character. And when we do the when we get around to making the composite like this creature here, you can see we don't really see the feet very well. So it's all happening up here at the top. So we don't have to worry too much about the feet. Of course, if you're making a character for film or game, then you probably want to go in there and detail them a little bit more. But we're not going to worry too much because we can detail it. It'll be more like a shoe foot than individual toe feet. just for ease of time, really, as part of a mini tutorial or mini explanation as I sculpt. Anyway, so why did we group these polygroups or the body into these polygroups? Well, if you have an asymmetrical model, you'd have to come in with a Z. If you have a symmetrical model, sorry, you'd have to come in with the Z remesh guide, and you could go down each one of these parts like this and like that. I mean, you could still do it with this. It's not that different. But you're adding these Z remeshes or these Z guides to your character in order to help Z remesh to follow the guides a little bit better with the flow of topology. Now, this is only really a big issue if you wanted to have a very clean topology to take into Substance Painter and all those other things with UVs and stuff like that. But for our one here, we're not too worried about that. But you can see this is still going to work all right. But there is the Z remesh guide on this side is going into the arm because we drew on this side and it's projecting over to the left-hand side, right? So what you'd have to do is actually have it non-symmetry and then draw these lines out again, but you won't get that nice Z remesh topology. It'll kind of be a little bit messy. So instead of doing Z remesh, I decided I'm going to use the polygroup method. And the polygroup method works by polygrouping the individual parts, and wherever there's a polygroup that meets another polygroup here, Z remesh is going to add an edge loop in this area. So the loop will start here and then go down the legs, you see. And if you do that for the arms and the head, then you know that where the head sits there, it'll try its hardest to keep those poly loops where those groups are. If I turn on the wireframe, it's quite a dense model. It's like 1 million polygons, which is a bit too dense to be fair, but we're going to fix that now. So if I go Dynamesh, turn off Dynamesh, come to Z remesh. Under Z remesh, you can say keep creases or keep groups. So I'm going to say keep groups because I want to keep these groups, and that's going to help Z remesh as well. And I'm just going to put 10 in the Z remesh and just Z remesh it and see what happens. Joseph Bonkowski says, speaking of haunting, have you seen The Haunting with Liam Neeson, 1999? No, I haven't actually. Is it any good? Let me know if it's any good. I'll put it on my list. So you can see here, it's tried to keep the edge flow or the edge loops going in the direction, especially in the legs here. So wherever there's a break between two polygroups, it's tried to keep that loop there as it goes down. It's really handy. We have to probably add more geometry to get a better result. So I'm just going to put 20 instead and just Z remesh it again. Yeah. Let's just wait for this to finish. There we are. Yeah, it's keeping the topology quite well. Again, we're not using this for game versions or anything like that. It's just going to be used for concept-wise. But if we wanted to, because we know the head's slightly symmetrical, because we only added the bulge onto the side of his face there, we could come in with the Z remesh and just try to help Z remesh guide these poly loops a little bit more accurately. Like that. I'm just going to leave it like that. Let's see if this works a little bit better now. Hope it doesn't crash. This is when things start to crash. That's another reason why I don't actually record this sort of task when it comes to, oh my god, it's yeah, that's another thing, isn't it? Sorry, just have to break there for a minute. If you have Z remesh the guides on with symmetry turned on, it's going to make it symmetrical. I think that looks pretty cool, to be fair, but we want asymmetry, so we're going to turn that off and do this by hand on each side. So Make sure you have symmetry turned off if you're doing asymmetrical as well, because it'll just mirror the symmetry over. Let's try that again. Kato says, I added a whole load of horror mods to Minecraft as a joke, and it's truly terrifying thinking of streaming it so people can watch me get jumped out of my skin. That would be pretty cool. Is that going to be on Twitch? I believe. Yeah, I've never seen the biggest, I haven't seen the big appeal for Minecraft, but I mean, there's a lot of people that play it, so it's almost like a digital Lego, right? Minecraft. Tell you what, the people who created that game are laughing to the bank. Oh, if only I was that clever. Right, so we have a better face now, better-ish. It's got a nice edge flow at least. We can work with that. So what I'm looking for is even distribution of topology on the model, and I'll just come in here and just clean up a few of these uneven areas with the smooth brush, just so it's not too messy. And you want to look at parts where like the armpits are all bunched up like these were, and where the fingers are, there's normally some sort of weird thing going on with the topology in here, so you just need to come in and smooth it out a little bit. Cool. That's pretty cool. Now I'm going to turn on I normally have two models. One's a high poly model, one's a low poly model. Now we have the high poly model on top and the low poly model underneath. And what I want to do is I want to project all that detail that we just created from the high poly to the low poly and then start to sculpt on top of that. So what I'll do is I'll have the low poly underneath the high poly, because that's how it has to be. That's how it always has to be. And I'm going to say this again, I'll probably say this about 1,000 times throughout all the tutorials I've created and the, these live streams. Sorry, to think about that for a minute. Cold coffee. Yeah. When I project as I go up the levels. I don't project at the highest level, because that's when things can go terribly wrong with your model. You want to kind of go up in stages. You don't when you project your high detail onto your low poly model, because every time you subdivide your model, it shrinks, right? So if you think of a sphere, a cube, a quad cube, if you smooth that and add subdivision, it shrinks as it turns into a ball, right? Well, that's essentially what's happening with your model when you're subdividing. You're kind of shrinking it as it subdivides, as it gets more topology, all right? So what you want to do, instead of going all the way to the top of your highest subdivision level and then projecting, because you'll get a lot of artifacting going on the surface and some topology screw-ups, you want to go up in levels so that you can keep an eye on it. And also, when you shrink it, then it projects it back out, and then you can shrink it back down and project it back out. And as you shrink and continuously do that, it'll get closer and closer to the skin or the layer of the high poly model. And I think I've said that now, going on 20 times. I'm sorry if it's the same thing I've said 1,000 times. Right, so just make these smaller. As I said, I want to go up in level, so I'm just going to hit Control D on the lower subdivision level. I'm going to keep this wireframe on so you can see the way it acts, right, as it goes up. So that's my first level subdivision. And I'll just come over to project, and I normally just keep these, I turn off the color. I just keep the project all exactly how it is, because it just works fine. I'll just go project all and just give that a minute to project. It doesn't take too long for the first few levels, but as you get higher, it's going to take a lot longer to do. So Control D and project again. And if I solo this, you can see now we're getting that detail coming in from the Dynamesh model, which is quite nice. And unsolo that, turn on the wireframe, hit Control D and project again. It's going to take a little longer because now we're in the 1.4 million polygons or active polygons. And we're going to go a little higher. So I'm going to hit Control D again, just check what level we're on. So subdivision level, subdivision level 5, which is good. I'm just going to project again. This is going to take a little longer to do, but essentially we're now getting into much higher detail. We could probably go one more up if we wanted to, but I'm going to leave it at subdivision level 5 for now because it's a lot safer to do that. Because as soon as you get to like 10 million polygons, ZBrush will start to have hissy fits if it's overworking or feels like it's overburdened. So we're going to leave it like that for now. We'll just turn off the high poly model at the top here and turn off that wireframe. And you can see we've got all the detail that we had from the Dynamesh onto our high poly model or low poly model now. Just turn the teeth back on. And essentially, this is where I'd start off with the detailing pass in the time-lapse video. So when you watch a time-lapse video and you get to the detailing stage, I've just gone and I've just done exactly what we just did now. I've just subdivided, I've just retopoed and projected. So that's why it looks so much cleaner once you get to the high poly detailing stage in the time-lapse videos. Cool. All right. Before we go any further, I just want to ask a question and put a 1 in the chat if you have. Has anybody ever watched The Conjuring? Just put a 1 in the chat if you have. Because I've got a question I need to ask as I sculpt here. So just now, normally what I'll do is I'll grab the smooth brush and I'll just make sure that I can smooth out a little bit of these details. Now, depending on the kind of creature you're going for, I mean, our one's going to be a mutated creature with weird skin. So we don't have to really worry too much about the skin looking bleh or ugly. But it also helps to just, like in the feet here, you can see there's some of that weird stuff going on here where the topologies are quite close together. When it's projected, so you just need to come in here and clean it up. Cool. Okay, so at least 2 of you have seen the film, which is good. I want to ask you a question. Now, don't go looking it up online or anything, but can you remember the first film? Like, can you actually remember watching it? And what happened in the film, because I like 2 nights ago I was looking on Netflix to watch something, right? And The Conjuring came up because I guess there's a new Conjuring film out, right? And I thought, well, why not? You know, let's just watch it, see what it's like. I couldn't remember anything of that film. When I started watching it, I thought because I've seen it before, but I was just like, I don't remember this, I don't remember that in the film. And it's like I was watching it for the first time. It's because I haven't watched it in a long time, but still, you know, it's strange how I couldn't remember any of the film, and I think I keep getting them mixed up with the Insidious show or the Insidious films, because the Insidious films has the same father character, or the guy who plays the priest, as well as in The Conjuring, and then in this Insidious, he's the father of the kid that goes missing in the spiritual world. I don't know. It's too close together, those films. Like they work too closely together. And they're too well, not well, but they're too recognizable as sort of the same thing, if you know what I mean. It's difficult to explain, but I like The Conjuring. I like the Insidious films. I like them both. But for the life of me, I just couldn't remember seeing any of that Conjuring stuff. Yeah, Case Day. It's the one with the nun. Yeah, because the nun shows up. Is it in the first one? Because it's weird because Conjuring has like two branches it goes down, right? It's got the Annabelle doll, and it's got the nun. And I haven't watched the latest one yet, so I don't know what the latest one's about. But they got these two branches that split off and do their own film. So you have two films for the nun, and I think you got two films for Annabelle, or maybe three films for Annabelle. Oh, it's crazy. That's like it's just a well of money, isn't it? Just if you can tap into those stories and make a story out of it, then you could just go crazy with the horror film, the horror film genre. But I like that. I like the psychological type horror films a lot. Again, because I do creatures quite a lot in my life, so I'm not really fazed by creature designs anymore. So I like a bit of jump scares and the supernatural and stuff like that. Insidious, Paranormal Activity, when that came out, that scared the hell out of me, the first one. I think it scared everybody because it looks so real with the film footage. So yeah, cakes, they're based on true stories. The ones I've seen, so I've seen Conjuring 1 and 2 now, and apparently they're both based, I can't be sure for the nuns and Annabelle, but apparently those first two films are based on true stories, so, and real life events, which is cool. It's always cool. You haven't seen Joseph, you haven't seen any Insidious. Is it connected to Conjuring or just the same actors? It's just got one actor that's the same. I don't think it's got anything to do with the Conjuring universe, but if you watch it, you'll think to yourself, hold on, am I watching The Conjuring or am I watching a new film? I think it's only because of that father character in the film, who's a priest in Conjuring. He's kind of in both of them. It just sort of knocks you for six because you're like, well, wait a minute. Am I watching the Conjuring or am I watching Insidious? Case says, I've been jump scared in real life with some Paranormal Activity. Genuinely scared me. Oh, God. You got a haunted house or something? Or... That's interesting because I've never had a jump scare, like haunting, I was wondering how it would feel to have one. My ex-girlfriend used to have. Apparently, she either knew or her family lived in a so-called haunted house. I wouldn't know 100% if it was, but apparently it was haunted before they moved out. But yeah, go figure. So now you can see I'm going into this character, and now you can really go in and start to detail it. Before we add those alpha maps, which are really going to bring out the detail, I like to come in and do a pass with the normal brushes, standard brushes, just to help it a little bit further. Let me just move out of here, zoom in here. Yeah, so... just coming in and adding some detail with a standard brush, because we're now kind of finished with the clay build-up brush for now. When I get to this point, it's a little difficult to use the clay build-up because of the way it works. I kind of start to use or tend to use the standard brush or alpha maps and then damn standard brush to finish it off. But again, this is just how I do it. A lot of other artists will do other things. You got to really just sort of play around with things like this and see how you go. But I'm not sure if I enjoy this part or if I do. It's difficult to tell because I really like the exploration side of things, and when it gets to the detailing, that's when I start to to fall asleep with the work. Well, I'll fall asleep, but it's not as interesting to me, you know. It looks great at the end, but it's just no. Casey says, I was playing darts in the extra room we've got in the garage, and there was a rocking chair in there. It randomly started rock. Okay, yeah, no, you need to get out of the house. You need to exercise that bitch. If there's a rocking, first of all, why have you got a rocking chair in your house? That's just like paranormal 101. Don't have a rocking chair. You know, there's a reason why they all sort of died out. People, I wouldn't have a rocking chair. Screw that. But yeah, I would have gotten out of the house as well. Case says, as you can imagine, I thought I threw the dart and then got the yep. I would have got out of there as well. I would have thrown the dart at the chair, Christ. Just to make sure. Cool. Yeah, there use a dam standard, and I can just come in here and start to add a little bit more. Now, again, I enjoy doing the detailing side a lot more once I've got some sort of alpha detail on here, because to me this is like I think I've said this before, it's kind of like a blank canvas, and I do really badly with blank canvases. I like to work with canvases that have got something on it, and so blank canvases don't really work for me very well. That's why when I do painting or digital paintings, I find it so difficult to start, because I just stare at the canvas, and as soon as I put my brush down to draw something, I immediately wipe it clean, because it's wrong in my head. It's wrong, you know. I think it's like the OCD in me that just I just need to get over that sort of perfection. I think a lot of artists suffer from this as well, like perfection. And that's why when using an alpha, it's easier to get past that perfection, because it's already got something on it. You know, you already made a mess on your character or your creature, so you can just go ahead and just go with the flow and finish it off, really. Case says, well, we used to have a rocking chair in the conservatory, but then we moved it to the garage to get rid of it, and then yeah, that happened. Oh god. Don't tell me it was your grandfather's or your mother's, or it was there when you bought the house, because that's one of the things from The Conjuring 2, the old man's rocking chair. I mean, come on. Not all of the houses in Britain look like that, okay? If you've seen the film, you know. I don't know what it is when it comes to the Americans portraying the British in films, but that Conjuring 2 was a little bit... it was a little bit stupid, because people don't talk like that very much in England, with the Cockney accent so much. They might have done back then, actually. They might have had a bit more of a thicker accent, but you know, it's the accent, and then the house they were living in. It looked like the mother hadn't cleaned it in God knows how long. There was mold everywhere. Every single surface was dirty. And back then, in those days, I think people had a little bit more self-respect when it came to their houses and how they lived, even if it was like I won't say council house, but like a small house that they had, right, or a lived-in house. They'd still keep it relatively well. So the whole film, like the whole house in that film, was just, it was strange. It didn't work. Oh gosh. says my grandfather used to be quite good darts player, so I'm thinking maybe he wanted to sit and watch me play. Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe it was just your grandfather. Did you check for any strings, like someone was pulling it whilst you're in there playing a prank on you? Because that could have been funny. Goes to Bugatti says 20 years ago, I've lived in a flat that definitely had something. When I was alone, I always got a creepy feeling somebody watching me from the door. Later on, my wife told me she felt the same there. You sure you both weren't just looking at each other? Because that could happen. You thinking it's a ghost, but it's your wife, and then your wife thinks it's a ghost, but it's actually you. That could have been it, actually. But no, that is creepy. I think our brains just automatically go crazy when it comes to the dark. So when you're in the dark and you're alone, you automatically go into that fear mode, right? So it's constant. It's in the automatic fear mode, and I think that's why our minds run wild with ideas of sort of haunting and stuff like that. But yeah, it's crazy, man. It was a relief because I started to think I ran out of my mind. Well, I mean, who doesn't? Kata says, no, the room is far too small for someone to be pranking me without me noticing. Okay. Yeah. Burn the chair is all I can say, if you still have it. And if you do still have it, I don't know why you'd still have it, but burn that bitch. You don't want to get haunted by the other side. Right. Oh gosh, got another experience here. Cakester says, also had another experience in that exact garage room. The music started playing on the radio randomly. Only problem was the radio was turned off and it wasn't even plugged. Oh my god. Okay, burn the house. Not even the rocking chair. Just burn the house. Did you tell this to any of the realtors that came around to evaluate your house, or the people? If you're not living there anymore. I wonder if that's something you have to actually declare when you're selling it. You know that. Oh, sorry. Just so you know, this goddamn garage is haunted. Good luck. You know, that sort of thing. I wonder if you have to declare that. You just want to spook. You just love spooking yourself. The rocking chair is in my room now, opposite my bed. Just oh gosh. Joseph Bosco says salt and gas, and let's have some light, bro. Yeah. It's like that. Have you seen the scary movie, the first scary movie, when the priest walks into the room? Takes one look at that girl and he just goes, fuck that, and just walks out. I just imagine that's happening when people say they got haunted houses and people walk in. That was amazing. I think that's what destroyed horror for a long time, were those scary movie films. Like, since they came out, when they came out, or since they came out, I can't take those Scream films seriously anymore. You know, well, I couldn't take them seriously anyway. But yeah, they're just a joke to me now. Anyone else think that? Anyone else think that the scary movie films destroyed those Scream films and horror films for a while in the 90s? Was it? No, the 2000s, wasn't it? I think I should bring them back, to be fair. I mean, I quite enjoy them. And there was quite a few of them. There was the superhero one. There was the 300 one. And they took the piss out of the 300 film. I think they need to bring those back. I think we've got a lot of stuff we could take the piss out of in 2025 that we could add to a sort of scary movie genre. So just adding some extra heaviness or weight to the character now, because he's got all these sort of growths on him, and it'd be stupid if you didn't have some weight put down, you know, gravity and all. Joseph Boncassi says, helped me a lot with my relationship with the first Exorcist movie. Still unable to watch it, but since scary movie, it doesn't haunt me in my dreams. Yeah, that was a strange one. The original Exorcist film. There's some funky, weird stories that came out after that. And I'm not sure if they're true or not, but apparently the people who made it, the people who made it started to have. There was a few that had some grisly ends or gruesome ends to them after the film was released. Like they just died unexpectedly after the film, and then a lot of people, well, a few people who watched it in the cinema, they when it released, they also reportedly died after the film had come out in cinema. So yeah, it's kind of a, I don't know if it's one to stay clear of, but it's got an interesting history. Let's just say that. Cakester says, have you heard of Athelhampton House in the UK? My dad had to drive past it for work one day, and he saw the strange floating woman on the garden part of it. Turns out a lot of people have seen her. No. Sounds a lot like, what's that show we were just talking about? The Haunted of Blythe Manor? It sounds a lot like that. Maybe it's similar. I'll have to look that up. Athelhampton House. Let me just check online quick. 1 second, guys. Athelhampton House. Haunting. Athelhampton House is considered one of England's most haunted houses, with its most famous ghost being the pet ape of Nicholas Martin. Okay, this is AI saying this, so I'm not sure if it's true or not. Who is said to be trapped in the house's walls after his owner's death. Other reported hauntings include a monk, possibly a Catholic priest, from the family's history, and the sounds of Civil War soldiers fighting in the Great Hall. There have also been reports of poltergeists activity and a female figure in a nightdress seen in a doorway. Maybe it's her. Maybe it's that. The ape's a bit weird. The pet ape. I'm not sure about that. Casey said, no, it's genuinely true. There is supposedly an ape ghost there. Well, okay. I have to go and try seeing what's going on there then, because that's crazy. I wonder if it's open to the public as a sort of tourist attraction or something. My mum was very into the haunting stuff and spirits. Of course, I'm always a bit skeptical because obviously I work in film and TV, and a lot of the things like that are sort of film and TV related. But she was always someone who was a sort of into the supernatural and afterlife and stuff like that. Okay. Now for the face, I'm not really worried too much about the detail in the face here because we're going to use some alpha maps in this area, general area, and if, you know, it doesn't look too bad as it is. You can already come in here and add some more details, like if you want, but detailing is a very tricky thing to do right. If you do it wrong, it'll stand out. So just be careful when it comes to the detailing stage. Again, this is just going to be a conceptual piece, so we're not going to worry too much about perfection because we'll take it into Photoshop anyway. We might just update it inside of Photoshop as well with some paint overs and stuff like that. So Kater says, the crazy thing is that it's open for viewing. Who the fuck would want to go there? I'd like to go there. Maybe. Yeah, I think I might go there. I'll have a look online and see what's it all about. I mean, come on, you have to, right? If it's got a story like that, you've got to go. You have to go at least have a go and see it. You'd be crazy not to. Yeah. All right. Just looking at it. Says, if I saw a ghost, I would crap my pants. I mean, first of all, you got to see the ghost, right? So, I mean, how many people have seen an actual ghost? That's the thing. Like, how often have they really seen it, or has it just been a sort of thing of their imagination? You know. And don't worry, you could take your extra trousers. I mean, you don't have to go with just one pair of trousers. Especially if you're going ghost hunting, it's probably best to have 2 pairs. I'm just using a trim adaptive for the sharpening of this, I guess a blade. You call it a blade if you want. Yeah, let's go there. Joseph says, wouldn't go there even if I'd got paid for that. I'd go there even if I didn't get paid. Screw it. Why not? I mean, I'm a little bit skeptical about supernatural, so if it was true and if something came out of it, then it would confirm that sort of spiritual afterlife sort of thing, but I'd need to know for sure. Note self, bring extra trousers. Yep. Always bring extra trousers. But yeah, I definitely would go with even if I didn't get paid, just to confirm for myself, you know. Okay. If I go record and share footage, yeah. If I ever make it back to upload it, or maybe just do a live stream while I'm there. I haven't got a great phone, to be fair. I've got this bloody Sony Xperia phone. It's got a horrible camera on it. I haven't got a 4K, you know, whatever iPhone or whatever you call these things these days. I don't know. I've given up on that side of technology. I find it's very misleading because they just keep bringing new phones out every year. So it's like, what's the point? Yeah, all fun and games until the ghost offers you their trousers. Aye, or that ectoplasma, or whatever it is from Ghostbusters in the ghost trousers. No thanks. Ectoplasm. Yeah. That's one. Ectoplasm. So you can see here, once you start getting a little bit looser with your model, you can start to add a bit more detail and you'll start to enjoy it a little bit more. You sort of ease into the detailing stage a little bit. Of course, this is a lot easier to do if you have a good concept or something to work off, because you can really get those details correct. But if it's just something that you're working on from memory, then it's going to be a little bit difficult to start with. Oops. Yeah, don't forget your self-defense starter pack, salt, iron, and a Winchester. Ah, yeah. Where the hell am I going to get a Winchester from? That's the thing. It's a bit difficult to find one of those. I'll just take I'll just take a whole ass priest. There you go. I'll just take one of them with me. Caser says, read that as Worcestershire and was confused. Yeah, why would you take Worcestershire sauce with you? What's that going to do to a ghost? Apart from, I don't know, annoy them. Okay. All right, let's get into it then. Gonna come down to layers. So once you've gone along and added a little bit more details to your surface and cleaned up the surface a little bit. Obviously, I've just done a little bit of surface cleanup and playing around with the model. Then you can start to use the brushes. So I've got my own brushes. Wait a second. Where is it? You are using, well, I'm going to use the 30 Mutant Skin Alpha brush set for this. And it's basically just a bunch of brushes I've created to use as stamps for my creature. So you can see I can put a big old boil there on the arm. I got a ton of these types of boils which kind of fit along with the creature down here. There's also some skin detailing, so you can add some skin detail to this creature as well, along the arms, along the chest, and so forth. A very amount of brushes in here, and there's the other one, the second stage or the second part of it, which has got these cool skin stretchers. So you can stretch the skin, make the skin look like a stretching across the top there, and some individual ones as well. So got quite a bit of variety here, and this is really cool because it's going to speed up the process quite a bit. So we're just going to check the comment section real quick. Casey says, yeah, it would probably annoy them. Just show it to them and they'd struggle to pronounce. Yeah. Worcestershire sauce. That's like one of the weirdest tasting things. It's kind of bitter and wait, there's two types, isn't there? Because there's Worcestershire sauce and then there's HP or brown sauce in England. I get those confused, but Worcestershire sauce is good for a cheese toasty. Tastes brilliant on cheese toasty. Put a bit of bread, butter, a lot of butter, cheddar, grated or sliced, and put a few dollops of Worcestershire sauce on top, and put that underneath the grill. Perfect stuff. Cool. So I'm going to put a new layer in here because I like to work with these on layers so that you can always keep a clean version of your model underneath. And what I'll do is I will start to just very randomly add detail. Now, I'm not going to be too clean about this. I think the least amount of cleanliness about this, the better, because it kind of goes with the flow of this creature. It doesn't have to be perfectly detailed with, I can just put this a little lower. Sorry, I'm trying to concentrate and talk at the same time. You can also lower the intensity if it's coming out a little too strong, as what I've done here actually. So I'm just going to undo that and maybe just bump it up a little bit. So we've got some surface detailing there. I also got a bunch of these like squiggly lines, which are veins. And as you can see on here, they're all around this model here. We could kind of add them the same way onto our creature. There's a vein. You could just add that like that. Kind of mimics that one there. This one's also obviously got topology for the vein, but for our concept, we don't need the topology. So we can probably do it without the topology. A few holes, because who doesn't like a few holes? Just testing these out. It's been a while since I've used this brush, so give me a good minute to play around with it. I think a good idea would be to put the boils down first. So just using this other brush real quick, I grab this boil number 2, and wherever we've put these big sacks of skin in here, I'm just going to add some boils to it so that it looks rather grotesque. Right, and as we go to the other side, we'll just put some on the back here as well. There's other smaller ones as well, so you can kind of mix and match them with smaller ones. Again, if you want, you can bring down the intensity a little bit. Let's put a nice big one there. Or actually, let's put number 2 there. And let's just put this higher. There we are. And for the face, I've got these ones here. This is better. And then some separate ones just to fill in the gaps around here. And also on the top of the head here, we'll just add a few as well. So you can see, you can start to build up that awesome, gruesome detail with this brush very quickly indeed. Okay. Just making sure the screen's still on, because sometimes it would just be me big on the screen and I've forgotten to turn the share button on. So we just add a couple of these down this arm shoulder pad here. And don't worry if it looks a bit wobbly, because you could just go in and clean it up later. So it's just a way of putting down detail very quickly. this one to here. Okay, and let's grab some of these skin ones real quick. I'm just going to turn the intensity down a little bit. Just see how these work with the skin. It's a bit too wavy, that one. This will work. Okay, just going to play around with this until I get a nice visual going, I guess. Mix and match. You don't also have to be using just this brush, by the way. I'm just going to add a new layer. You can come in with the standard brush, make sure the intensity is quite high. And once you start having more detail down, you can come in and start to add those veins as well, using just a standard brush. So you can see these veins down here. We're just adding those to this arm now. So make sure you start off with a light pressure and then build that pressure big and then taper it off near the end. And also make sure it's very squiggly as well. You don't want it to be too straight. You want it to go kind of all over the place. They don't have to be long either. You can have short ones, tall, long ones, because we're going to put some of those boils and skin deformation in there as well. We can change the scale of it so it's not all just one size. Add them in like that as well. Add them next to each other. Now this side is going to go crazy, right? Because it's kind of like the deformed side. So we can go a little crazier here. Cakester says, have you ever modeled a spider from scratch, or because I can model a spider, it just takes a long time because it's like so many legs. You can also use this as a minus as well, so you don't have to have it as it is in the brush set here. You can hit Alt down and it will give you the minus version of it. And that could give you some cool looking results. You could just smooth out a little bit, like surface noise to it. Okay. Grab the standard brush again. And just a dam standard. You can create these lines with a dam standard. You can also use a great the rake brush to create lines through here. Just smooth it out if you wanted to, but I think a dam standard is probably easier to use. And you just come in and detail it. Again, the one on the left-hand side here in the reference, It's been worked on for a very, very long time. Probably months of work went into that. So bear that in mind when you're looking at my one. It doesn't look like that. But if I'd spent months on it, it probably would. Okay. What's the time? 1:28. Just a little bit of patience. You can add that kind of detail into here as well. Okay, and let's go to these brushes again. Just mix and matching them until I get something that I like the look of. See, that looks like it's tearing out of there. So let's just grab the, oops. Let's grab the standard brush, sorry. And let's just emphasize that sort of detail in there. Sorry if I'm a bit quiet. I just I get like that when I start to detail things. It just goes quiet for a while. That's pretty cool. I'm just going to isolate this area because I think what I'll do is continue to detail. I think what we'll do is we'll detail it from left to right, and I'll just continue to detail this side here first whilst I'm here. Oh gosh, what's going on in the comment section? Just generally, yeah. AI will do it for you. Don't start with the AI talk. It's like every Thursday, there's someone will say AI. It's like, yeah, probably will. It probably will do it for me, but if you use AI too much, basically defeating the point of being an artist. You know, I could see some places where it would be great to have AI, like retopoing. If it can do retopo really well, then I mean, I'm all for it. But modeling and art-wise, leave it to the artists. I know that studios, they want something fast and effective, but I think that's the problem with studios as well, is that they always want something really fast. When you think of all the great games, like the old original great games out there, like Duke Nukem and Mortal Kombat, all those games when they first came out, they were rushed, or they had a deadline, but you know, they they understood that the game needed to have time to bake in the oven. You know, artists needed time to create. I mean, Mortal Kombat was actually done. I think it was done like a shoestring budget. That's why then they created that new way of making games using photo models. Have you seen the Netflix TV series? The Games That Made Us. They have a whole series on that with Mortal Kombat and how they created it. Very interesting series. I'd recommend it to anyone who wants to learn a bit more about games and how they came about. What am I looking for? But yeah, I think today's society, it's like they want something now. You know, they can't wait for it to actually be made anymore. It's kind of like, what can we do, or what can we make really quickly that doesn't cost too much, so we can get it out as fast as possible. It's just, I don't know, to me it's a bit silly. A little bit silly. Let's add some inverted and verted detail in here now. Add a new one there as well. Joseph says, let's introduce an AI jar. Somebody says AI have to gift a month sub to someone. Yeah, that would be nice. Or a drinking game. Somebody says AI, everybody drinks. I think we'd be pissed. I wouldn't be able to work. I wouldn't be able to do this work if I had to drink every time someone said AI. You never get done. But I mean, you know, talk about it if you like. I mean, I'm not fussed about. I'm not too worried about it. People talking about it, you can if you like. It's no skin off my teeth. But my opinion or my thought is, artists are still needed. Sorry. I'll grab some water. Artists are still going to be needed for the foreseeable future, so don't panic. There will be a time when everybody has to evolve or adapt. That's just the nature of it, really. Look at well, my father was part of that sort of generation. He was a draftsman. I think I've said this before, and they used to work on these huge boards, drawing by hand. Structural engineering was his thing. And then one day someone brought a computer in when it was coming out with CAD, like the first versions of CAD or whatever. And the foreman, or the person in charge, gave it over to my father to learn, because someone had to learn it in the office and not a lot of people wanted to. but he decided to take it up and learn it. And the foreman said, these things will never catch on. These computers, things, machines will never catch on. It will always, draftsmen on boards will always be superior. Blah, 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 blah. And now look, everything is drawn on computers. There's no more draftsmen that draw by hand, or there's very little of them. And so it's kind of the same thing with AI, really. There'll come a time when every artist will need to know AI and be able to use it fluently. And I think my generation are going to be the last ones to do things like this that you're seeing on the screen. And soon I'm going to have to learn to adapt or be left behind, which is something that will happen. So by all means, go out and learn AI, in your own time, spare time. But there are still fundamentals you need to know about CGI and character design and stuff like that if you want to be in the industry right now as it is. So yeah, it will come for us all eventually. It won't just be the entertainment industry; it will be all industries will have AI introduced into it. So it's inevitable, basically. They got that Frankenstein coming out on Netflix soon, actually. I'll put my reminder on, obviously. That should be fun to watch. I think the United States might have already got it. I'm not sure. Because they have those regional blocks, don't they, on Netflix. So if you're watching it from a different country, you'll see different things on your Netflix. But that should be coming out soon, hopefully. Can't wait for that. That's an amazing looking film. It's I can't remember his name. Can't say what his name is. Can't remember how to say it. Gal de Toro? Is that how you say it? Maybe. It's one of his films, isn't it? Yeah, Kater says the chiropractor AI memes on my feed earlier were hilarious. I've seen a lot of AI from, is it Soros from Twitter? They've created a new AI film generator for Twitter. There's a lot of funny ones on there. Like people just, there's ones where there's a woman that's on the toilet, and then all of a sudden this massive boar pig jumps into the toilet with her through the window, and it looks real. It looks pretty darn real, but it's sort of AI, obviously. But if you weren't paying attention to what AI was, and you're like an older person or something, and you saw that, you'd think, "Oh wow, poor lady." So it's getting dangerously close to realism at the moment, or realistic. So yeah, funny stuff though, very funny stuff that they're coming out with. Like There's a lot of ones with Stephen Hawkins. Has anyone seen those ones? I mean, so it's not great. It's not funny what he had, but it's the way they've created films using his likeness. It's just, of course, that's the route humans take when AI is given to us to, to use respectfully. It's just start making stupid things like what was it? It was Stephen Hawkins towing a bloody caravan down the road, in his wheelchair. I mean, come on. Oh dear. Someone's going to hell for that, I'm telling you. Kato says, on the chiropractor ones, the guy accidentally snaps the patient's neck and then throws her out the windows in the ridge. Yeah, I've seen ones where there's like a guy doing a leg press, and then he's got these quite large ladies on the top of the leg press, and then all of a sudden his legs just give way, but then he's laughing about it, and then he sort of kicks them off and then starts laughing about it, and just thinking, gee, someone's going to use this one day for evil. Okay, let's check it out. So what we got? That's not too bad for a mutated arm. Like I said, I'm going to have it on the left-hand side. I'm going to have it quite disgusting, and then as I come over to this side, it's going to be more human-like and less detailed. So you can see how we're adding the detail on the side as it goes up to the top, and again it comes down to the bottom of the body there. There's going to be a lot more happening in the back here as well. But this is not bad for the first pass. And here we are. Add that vein going up the arm there. There. Casey says there's ones where the Queen gets pulled over by the police and she puts her middle finger up, tells them to F off, and then drives away. Yeah, I've seen a lot of the Queen ones as well. I think, isn't it? There should be. There's probably going to be someone one day that's going to say, I don't like my likeness being on the TV used for Soros or whatever. I'm going to sue you now. I swear that's coming down the pipeline soon. Someone's going to take major offense to one of these things, and they're just going to sue whoever made it, and it'll just be illegal to use the likeness of, say, the Queen or anything like that. And I think that's when AI is going to be sort of judged a little bit more. But until then, people are just going to carry on doing what people do. Okay. That's pretty gruesome. Let's turn the teeth back on. Where's the teeth turned off? Yeah. We'll clean that up later, I think. All right, cool. Oh, right, I think. Katie says, feel sorry for courts. They're going to have a hard time with whether video evidence is real or. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's some on there that unless it's. There was one on there that looks so real, but then just at the end, it went haywire and completely messed up. And so you could tell it was AI, but yeah, it's going to be very difficult to know what's real and what's not. In such a short space of time. I remember like 2 years ago, we were complaining that, the hands will never look good on AI images, just the images. And now look at us now, where we can't even tell which one is real and which one isn't because they've kind of fixed the hand issue. There's still some issues with tracking or keeping an image strong, like together, when it's walking, like a character's walking down the road or something, like the video, it'll sort of blurry and stuff like that. But yeah, Casey said it wasn't long ago that the teeth were blurry. Now they've fixed that. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it 1.5 years. So, yeah, 1.5 years more, and it will be perfect. You won't be able to tell. There might be the odd mess up, but the majority of them will be perfect, and you won't be able to tell whether or not it was AI. Cool. All right, guys, I think I'm going to leave it there for tonight. We've done quite a bit to him. Again, I want to sort of detail this with you guys as I go along, and also I'm creating a new brush as well. In the process of creating a new brush, I want to finish it this weekend so that I have it fresh for Thursday. It's a new sort of mutant / scars and stuff like that I want to test out on the live stream. So I'll do that this weekend. I'll finish that off and get it ready for this. But yeah, I hope everybody has a great Halloween this weekend. Don't go doing anything too stupid. Let me just check real quick. So just want to say a big thank you to my YouTube members. I've got quite a few of you guys now. There's a brand new person as well. I'm just going to turn off the comments real quick. Can't see everybody. There we go. Yeah, brand new person as well, which hasn't had a chance to be put on, but I will put that on for next week. But you can see we got about 40 YouTube members. 40 YouTube members on my YouTube channel, which is absolutely amazing. We got Michelle399 in my new members. Michelle399, Art of Wing, S. Wilson, MF Gorai, something like that. Affect That, Matthias Ziki Z, and The Red Hood. Thanks, Kakester, and thanks, Joseph, for being here tonight. You guys have been great in the chat. Joseph, thanks for being a member as well for so long. Number 6-monther, which is amazing. Got 1-monthers, KO, Caesar, Sculpts, Lexi, and Blake. And we have 2-monthers, which is a heck of a lot. I'm probably just going to say the first name for these ones. So we got VSWAT, Shira Phoenix, Dylan Dixon, MHN Artist, EMAC 3D, EFPV, Section Seville, Black Socrates, Sunel Verma, Home Slice Creative, DigiLocker and Art and Design, Yavuskan EK, I think that's how you say it, Omega Sauza, S. Sauza, Joseph Monroe, Krishnash Sharma, Yodai Hirata, ZBrush Argentina, and Fantine Dat. That's a great name. There's also 2 others on there that I couldn't say because they were Asian hieroglyphics, or letters. So thank you guys for being as well. And our 6-monthers, we've got Joseph Bankowski, Dave Newhouse, Matteo Selek, Alpinative 35, Ganesh, Ivan Savoyne, Maria Carvalho, Nicholas Anastasio, Abishk Paswan, and Wesley, as well as another Asian guy. And for my Patreons, they are all there as well. I'm not going to say them all tonight. There are quite a few of them. But I just want to say thank you very much to my Patreon members. You guys have been amazing as always. And you really helped to, you know, keep this channel going. To be fair, I all the money that comes from you guys goes straight into software for these live streams. So I want to say thank you very much to all you guys for being members for so long. And with that being said, whoops, let me just, there it goes. Have a great Halloween, guys. Don't eat too much chocolate. Don't go scaring too many kids or doing anything too silly, going and drinking too much. And I'll see you all on Monday because we have the hand sculpts for Monday. And yeah, have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time. Take care, guys. Oops, wait a minute. Turn the music off first. There we go. See you later, guys. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in more exclusive content and want to support my work further, then please check out my Patreon page at MLW_creative for more. Also, view past live streams you might have missed in Tier 3 tutorial support, where I will be archiving future streams moving forward. If you are interested in other full-length tutorials, brushes, and models, then check out my online stores for more useful content. I would also like to thank all my subscribers and patrons for supporting me for this long. Again, thanks for watching and stay safe.